Righto, kia ora whānau. I'm just going to show a quick video and or show a couple of the tips and tricks that we do when we fillet our blue moki. So what I've got here, I've got my filleting knife, just an old butcher knife, so if you've got a mate working at the works, you know where to get it from. I've got a head splitting knife. It's just a nice heavy cleaver, nice and sharp, just enough to split the head open. We don't like to waste anything, so we'll keep the body, we'll keep the head. We'll use those for smoking later on. Bit of sugar, bit of salt, chuck it in the smoker, bit of manuka. Get your missus to cook that, tastes beautiful. And then I've got a good old steel, so make sure your steel's got a bit of grit left. If thick makes a good steel. Make sure you've got something that's going to do the job. Don't worry about those polished ones, they're bloody rubbish. So as long as you've got a good sharp knife, you're good to go. So the fish that we're going to do today is blue moki. This has been shot a couple of days ago. It's been in the freezer, and then we've pulled it out for this purpose. So first cut we do, just in behind the head, past the collar. As you can see here, I'll flick it up. First cut goes in on a bit of a 45 angle, in towards the head. You can see the cut's gone right down to the bone. And then I'll turn my knife and cut it right into the gut cavity. So these have already been gutted. Last thing I'm going to do is put them in the freezer with the guts in. Terrible idea. If you're going to be freezing your fish for a long time, leave the scales on, chuck them in whole, then they last a bit longer. So the next step for this side, depending on, there's a lot of ways to fillet a fish. This is how I do mine. So coming from the back of the tail, keep down to the bone, try and stay as high up to the top of the fin as you can. So your cut should be close to the bone, as you can see. Your next shot is just to slice it in there nice and easy, and that'll slowly start peeling off. Keep your knife down on a pitch, just enough to run along the bone. So get to the point that I'll get to where the spine is in the center. I'll just let my knife come up a wee bit just to rise up over the bone, and then I'll dip it down from about halfway from where the arsehole of the fish is. For this half here, I'll dip it, I'll cut it right out, and then I'll come back up to the rib and go up and over. So as you can see, I'm just starting to do the cut through now. And I slide my knife right through, you'll see it coming through the other side. Quick slide out, and there we go, just separated that. Now you'll see where the cavity, the puku or the stomach starts coming through. There's a line of bones there that we've just got to cut through that line of bones. Excuse the mess, that's obviously where the spear's gone in and taken the fish out. So just watch that line of bones, make sure you pick through it, and then from this point here I just slide my knife around using the ribs or the bone line that's in there now to guide my knife. So as soon as I slide it off, that's one nice fillet. Then we'll flip it over to the other side, very much the same principle. Obviously that hole there is a bit of a mess from it shaking itself around when it was caught. So now you'll see that is now cut, same principle as the other side, but this time I'll keep the head up in front of me, and then I'll start the cut along the spine, very much the same but backwards from our first cut. You'll notice the scales are still on, because for this process I'll be taking the skin off. Right, you'll notice I keep it up. You'll hear me just cut through the bones, so I keep the fillet up as high as I can get it. For this side here, same as before, just use the knife to run down around the ribs, and then I'll take it back down. So once I get to that point there, a lot of that puku meat or that stomach flat down here, a lot of it's usually not that nice eating. It's full of a lot of fat, but depends on what your whānau like to eat at the time. I know my father, he's right into it. So there we have both fillets done. We've got the body left. At this point here, a lot of people will chuck their bodies away. For us, we like to cut it down the head. We'll snap it off at the spine. So that piece there, now you'd salt that, or you'd add a bit of brown sugar and a bit of lemon, let it soak in it for a wee bit, add a bit more salt, chuck it in the smoker, and then you've got something nice. When the rugby game's on, you can have a pick at those bones. Beautiful. Next section, we can either use this head the way it is, or we can split the head open. So when we split the head open, come down with the knife, and this is where the big boy comes in. So we'll use that, cut it open, and then you'll salt that, chuck that in the smoker. This is where all the nice fat juicy pieces of meat come from out of your fish. So instead of wasting it next time, whānau, make sure you split it and process it right. So when we move on to our fillet, depending on what you want to do, this gut cavity,